I'm Crayolian Cheri Sterman. We're joined by special guests who will inspire us with their love of books and libraries. Author Joy McCullough will read the story of a book, and then illustrator Devon Holzwarth will lead us through a colorful drawing session.
Hello! Thank you for joining us. Let's start by reading our book, The Story of a Book, by Joy McCullough, illustrated by Devon Holzwarth. And as soon as we open it, we're in this beautiful park and there's so many details, but my favorite one is right here. There's a lady with white hair and red glasses and she's working on a computer, and that's me. Devon put me writing the book, The Story of a Book. Fresh ink on crisp pages, never opened. The words inside, just waiting to be read. Someone picks it up, but they are not the reader for this book. She put it down, and that's okay. But sometimes, the perfect reader, let's say it's you, drinks in the words, and together you make a special kind of magic. Magic that transports you to a brighter place. And I want to show you something. This doctor with her polka dot pants, we've seen her before. She was in the library picking out a book. Or stays with you when there is no light. Magic that's sweeter when you share it. She's giving a book she liked to her friend. More powerful when you choose the book yourself. And putting you to sleep doesn't mean it's boring. Have you ever fallen asleep while reading a book? Sometimes the book is devoured by an unexpected reader. This baby is chewing on the book. Sometimes the magic is hard to understand, but you can take as long as you need. The book is in no hurry. She's taking that book all over town with her. So many readers love the book, or chew on it, spill on it, sleep on it, cry on it, that one day it reaches the end. This book is all ripped up. It looks like there's some pages coming out. It's at the end. Or does it? This man and child have picked up that old bedraggled book at the library book sale. And they're taking all those pages and they're making something, aren't they? What do you think they're making? And here we are back in the park. And there's all these people doing different things, and there's that man and that child, and they're flying the kite they made out of all the colorful pages.
Joy, that was lovely. Please tell us what inspired this book, especially that wonderful line where you say, the reader drinks in the words, and together you make a special kind of magic.
I love going to libraries and seeing books that you can tell lots of people have checked out because they're getting a little worn out. And I love thinking about who took that book home and who read it and who loved it or who didn't love it. And one of the things that I think is really special about books is they need a reader to be magical. A book that's just sitting on a shelf is just a thing. If nobody's looking at it, there's no magic there. There's magic when the right reader comes along and picks up the book and opens it and looks at the pictures and finds themselves in the story, or maybe they go to a new place or meet a new person that they never would have met without that book. And that person as the reader and the book together are what make that magic.
Thank you for sharing such important messages with our viewers. We're excited to now have Devon share some art techniques as our viewers create alongside.
So the story of a book focuses on the power of books to lift us up, to calm us, to take us places, to stay with us. And one of my favorite scenes from the book is when one of our characters has returned from the library and he has a new book, and you can see how he's holding up the book at the same time the book is filling him with excitement. So I'm going to recreate this image in collage, and you can follow along. Or you could also make a picture of yourself holding up your favorite book, or maybe holding up your favorite characters. So let's make something together. It's going to look a little bit like this. To get started making our character, you can come up with any kind of style you like, any kind of skin tones, colors for clothes, hairstyles. I'm going to try to follow our character in the book. So he has a yellow shirt and he has black hair. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is make a field of color for his skin that I can then cut out from. We're actually going to make almost the whole piece on this white piece of paper. One tip when you're using these markers is to draw with them angled, and you'll cover more area. If you draw with it more pointed, it's kind of hard to cover so much area. And we're going to make a big rectangle of color. I'm going to look at his face, and I'm going to point out to you here that it's kind of a circle with a little bit of a flat side. And so that's what we're going to draw. We're going to start off with color pencil. So you can see I'm drawing kind of a C shape, and you could go ahead and draw lightly the whole circle, or when you get to the top here, you can start to flatten it out. So it's a circle and a flat spot. And if you can believe it, that's going to be where his chin is. Here's his nose. Up here's his hair. So now we have a rough shape for his head. I'm going to go ahead and put in a neck. While we're here and we have this shape, I hope you can see it. I'm going to add his ear, which can just be kind of in the middle, a little bit off the center though. I'm just going to draw another C shape, just like that. I'm going to do a detail C right inside a second. He's looking up, so I'm going to imagine that his eyes are right here and they're at an angle pointing up. And then here's his nose, which comes right under his eyes. And then I'm going to give him another nice sort of C shape. This one's a bit softer and that makes a nice smile. From this point, you could do a few different things. There's really no right or wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give him some hair. And the really cool thing about this is it doesn't matter if you go way out of the lines, because we're going to cut this whole thing out. So now he's got some hair, and I'm going to go ahead while I have the black color pencil and give him more defined eyes, maybe a little bit of line under the nose. But I like the red, so I'm going to leave the red for most of it. Most important though are the eyebrows. They show so much expression, so don't forget eyebrows. The next part is I am going to decide where his hands are going to go. So his hands are across here by his chin, and I'm going to just draw. It's basically a rectangle with fingers, which I know can be tricky, but it's basically just another rectangle shape on top of this one. This one is just a little cutout for the thumb. And over here we have another hand. Remember, we can make this better or however we like it when we're cutting it out. So I have two hand shapes and a head shape. What is next? In the book, he has on a yellow shirt with triangles. I'm going to go ahead and give him a shirt, and we're going to do it right here on this paper. I'm going to take this paper, bring it up to where I think the shirt should start, and I'm going to draw. It's a rectangle, but it's kind of at an angle. I can still see it's a rectangle though. We're going to draw his shoulder and the rest of his arm, and we're going to fill this piece in with another piece of the yellow paper. Now I'm going to go ahead and just cut it out. And it's okay if it gets a little fiddly here, if it's a little tricky. Collage looks so neat on paper. When you glue paper down, it just takes on a life of its own and looks like a whole new thing. Go ahead and try it. So look, he's already coming together. Let's finish up his sleeve. I'm going to take this one little piece that's left over, and I'm going to slide it under, go under this piece, and go up to his hand and make a little mark. And then I'm going to cut out this little rectangle. Like I said, we can fix it when we cut the whole shape out if we want to. We also need a little rectangle there, and in this case I'm just going to cut a rectangle out. Let's start gluing down some pieces. I'm going to get some paste. I like a good amount. It dries pretty quickly. Then we'll put down the last bit of his sleeve over here, taking care not to cover up his eye. And in the book, he doesn't have legs in the scene, but we can give him legs. we're going to take a piece of paper, and this is where you can have more fun with materials. So let's say you can grab some watercolor pencils and you could draw pattern like some brick shapes, or you could do plaid, or you could do other kind of line work or fields of color right onto your paper. And these are really fun pencils because you can also mix the color right on the paper. And then with a little bit of water, they'll magically mix together like so. And then once that dries, you can cut it out and use it for one of your details. So in this case, I already have this piece, and this is a paper that I found and then I drew on top of with some marker. So that's another option. So I'm going to hold it up to our character here, and I'm going to say, well, I think he's about this tall, maybe so. And then we're going to draw a rectangle like this, okay? Not coming up all the way. And we're going to draw another rectangle right next to that. And then we're going to meet this line up here so that he now has some plaid pants. Okay. So cut that out. Let's paste it down. All right. So now our character has legs, and we're going to draw some little feet here. Just very simple. A line down, a line across, and then another curved line to meet. And now he has shoes. It's time to move this guy into our book, and then we'll make him a book. When you're first cutting out your character, don't worry about getting in too tight. You can come back and make a better detailed cutting afterward. I can just come in like this the second time, come in closer with the scissors, cut a little bit tighter so that your character is the piece standing out and not all the background paper. You can leave background paper on. I think it looks kind of neat. It doesn't have to be perfectly cut out, so try that too. Maybe with anything you draw, try different things and just see how you like them. Here we have our character. Why don't we give him a book to lift in the air that he can be really excited about? So this is a really cool color stick, and I'm just gonna draw a field of color with it by rubbing it on its side. You can get this really neat texture. So let's do that. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of this pinkish shade because our book in this story, it's a little bit of a purpley blue, reddish purple. You can look at the book again and see how big it should be. Draw your rectangle for the book like so. I'm gonna draw some open pages. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut this shape out and see how we did. Ooh, this looks pretty good. Not too bad. Okay, so let's start gluing down our pieces. You can put them wherever you like. Maybe you want to put your character a little further down on the page so that you can fit more stuff in the top. And then we'll also glue down the book. And now actually we have to lift the hand up and get the book in. One more little special thing you can do if you want to add a little extra magic, because that's what is so wonderful about books, is the way they make us feel, right? Is you can come in with these really bright markers and add some details, maybe some spirals, and stars to show all these little bits coming out of the book. You can show how the magic is coming out as he's opening the book and looking inside. Do another little bit here. And one last thing you can do, which I actually did in the book, is take some little punched out circles just from a regular hole punch that you might have at home. I'm just going to pour them on top so you can see how they could look all spread around. I hope you enjoy making something like this and maybe even filling up a book of your own. Thanks for making something with me today.
Wow, that was fantastic. Thank you for sharing, Devon. Parents and teachers, if you're interested in more sessions like this, you can be the first to know about the next Read Along, Draw Along program and other free programs by subscribing to our Crayola Learning YouTube channel. Thank you, Joy and Devon, for inspiring us to be part of a caring community that works together and honors the books around us. Thank you to our friends at Simon & Schuster for publishing this wonderful book. And a very special thanks to all of you for joining us.
Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you keep reading.
Bye everyone. Thanks for creating with us today.
Bye-bye.